Hello, good afternoon. This is lecture number 24. We are discussing about properties of DFT. So in the properties of DFT, we have discussed about linearity property, then followed by periodicity property. The first property we started with periodicity property, then we moved towards the linearity property, circular symmetry property of DFT. Then the folded sequence, representation of sequence on the circle and representation of folded sequence on the circle. We have gone through. Then we have studied about the symmetry property. If the sequence is complex valued, what will be their ultimate DFT values? We have discussed upon symmetry property of DFT. So here we have seen one important observations we did, that is, if the sequence is real and even, in that case their corresponding DFT values we can calculate directly by using formula as x of k is equal to summation n varies from 0 to n minus 1 x of n cos 2 pi k n divided by capital N. This is what we can say, that if the input sequence is real and even, its DFT values are also real and even. Its corresponding DFT values. If now point to be noted that if the input sequence is real and even, their corresponding DFT values are also real and even. Okay. If now the second point we observe that if the input sequence is real and odd, its corresponding DFT values are imaginary. If the input sequence is real and odd, their corresponding DFT values are imaginary. The second point which we have observed. Then next, in the symmetry property, we have gone through a very important property, that symmetry property of real values. If we have been provided with a initial 4-5 points, we can calculate remaining points. How we can calculate? Because those points are complex conjugate of earlier point. So we have solved the problem based on this property as well. Here the first 5 points have been given, so we could calculate remaining 3 points. How we can calculate? Because of this complex conjugate property of real valued sequence. Okay. Then we have discussed about very important property called as a circular convolution or multiplication of two DFTs. Okay. So here we have seen that if we perform multiplication in the frequency domain, if the DFT values are multiplied in the frequency domain, it is equivalent to circular convolution in the time domain. So this is the important property we have studied called as a circular convolution property of DFT. Then we have solved the problem by using formula. Here it is, we have tried or we have solved the problem by using formula. Then the second method is concentric circle method, with which we can find out the convolution, or we can perform the convolution between two sequences, and we can get the third sequence convolution, which is the output of convolution of two sequences, x1 of n and x2 of n. So this is the second method that we have studied. It's based on the concentric circle method. And then the third method, that is by using the matrix approach. By using the matrix approach also, we can find out the circular convolution. So by shifting one by one values, we have been prepared the matrix for second sequence. This is the first sequence, and then performing matrix multiplication, we can find out circular convolution. So this is the third we can find out the circular convolution. And finally, the last approach for circular convolution is using DFT and IDFT method. So here the DFT values of two sequences have been calculated, and those values or those sequences being multiplied, with which we can get third sequence, and then we have applied IDFT upon the third sequence, so that we can get the output which is same as that of the output which we have calculated by using by using the concentric circle method, or by using the formula, or by using the matrix method. All are giving me a similar output, right? So all methods are providing me a similar output here. So the next method, after DFT and IDFT, the next, here we have performed the multiplication. Here we received the third sequence, which is written here, and then IDFT is applied. So we can find out circular convolution by using DFT and IDFT method. Then today we are going to study about, okay, today we are going to study about the time reversal property of the sequence. Only two properties are remaining. The first is time reversal of the sequence, and then the next, only two properties are remaining: time reversal of a sequence and frequency shift we will see. So let us go through a next property called as a time reversal of a sequence. So write down this property, time reversal of sequence. For this, now let us start with the definition of this property. If x of n is having, or if we apply DFT, it gives x of k sequence. If I am reversing the sequence in the time domain, x of minus n modulo n, it represents that sequence is reversed. This is representing, now here this is representing that the sequence is reversed in the time domain. This minus sign is representing that the sequence is folded or reversed. So x of minus n modulo n is representing that sequence is reversed. And if we reverse the sequence in the time domain, and then if we apply the DFT, the DFT values are also going to be reversed in the frequency domain. Are you getting? If we change the sequence, if we change the position of the sequence, or if we instead of representing sequence in the anti-clockwise, if I am representing sequence in the clockwise, then that means that the sequence is reversed. If I am reversing sequence in the time domain, its DFT values are also going to be reversed. Those values are going to be reversed. So that is this property is called as a time reversal of the sequence. If we, whatever operation we will be doing in the time domain, it affects the sequence in the frequency domain. In what manner? If I am reversing sequence in the time domain, its corresponding DFT values are also going to be reversed in the frequency domain. So it is represented here. X of minus n modulo n. If I am applying DFT upon this reversed sequence, it's DFT values here. These are the DFT values. These DFT values are going to be reversed in the frequency domain. X of minus k modulo n is representing that the values in the frequency domain are also reversed. Getting? So this property is called as a time reversal of a sequence. This particular property is known as a time reversal of a sequence. Are you taking down this property? Take down. Time reversal of a sequence. X of n, when we apply DFT, it produces x of k sequence. Now, if the sequence is reversed or folded in the time domain, its corresponding DFT values are also going to be reversed in the frequency domain. So this is the property called as a time reversal of a sequence. Okay. So next, here you can see that it's proof. If the sequence is circularly folded, it's a DFT is also circularly folded. If the sequence is reversed or folded, x of minus n means what? We are folding the sequence. If the sequence is folded in the time domain, its frequency domain values are also going to be circularly folded. So x of minus n modulo n we can represent as x of n minus n. If we apply DFT of this sequence, now what I did here, I have changed this index n minus n is now it is substituted for m. So m is equal to n minus n. Now if n varies from 0, if I substitute, the first value of n is 0 and final value of n is n minus 1. If I am substituting this, the index value is going to be changed. The index value is going to be changed. So it is going to be varying from, m will vary from 0 to n minus 1. So accordingly, indexing are going to be changed. Here, what I am doing here, I have substituted n minus n to the new variable m. So if I am representing, or I am replacing the n minus n with the new variable, this index of summation, this is also going to change. The index is also going to change because the index we have changed from n minus n to m. So n minus n is substituted for m. So here the index value is also going to change. What is the index value? We have substituted n minus n to m. So if I am substituting n minus n to m, the index of summation is also going to change. We will see in the next slide. Or here it is represented as, this is summation m varies from n to 1 x of m e raised to minus j 2 pi k upon n. Now this n is going to change for n minus m. This is going to change from n to n minus m because of the substitutions, right? Have you taken down this? Write down this. We will go one by one. What I did, I have reversed the sequence. If I am reversing sequence, x is going to change as x of n minus n modulo n. That is nothing but x of n minus n. Now what I did, after reversing sequence in the time domain, what I did next, I have applied DFT. So DFT of x of n minus n. This is nothing but a folded sequence. For folded sequence, DFT is applied. So this is now, this is the sequence where we have applied the DFT. So for this sequence, DFT we have applied. So summation, this is the sequence which we have represented, for which I want to find out the DFT values. Next, what I did, I have substituted for this. What I have substituted, n minus n, capital N minus n is substituted for m. Next काय केले मी? Substitution केले. What kind of substitution I did? I have substituted for n minus n. It is substituted for m. ह्याला substitute m केला तर n ची range काय आता इथं? n varies from 0 to n minus 1. If I am substituting n equal to 0, म्हणजे m ची पहिली value काय होणार आहे? What will be the first value of n? It is capital N. Then what I did, I have substituted upper limit. What is that upper limit? N minus 1. So what will happen? This plus n and this minus n will cancel. Minus will be plus. The next value of m that we will be getting is 1. So value of m, what we have obtained, m varies from n to 1. M varies from n to 1. This is what x of m e raised to minus j 2 pi k upon n. Now here again small n is present. We know that n minus n is equal to m. So from this we can easily find out the value of m. So what is the value of m? M will be equal to n minus, this is there, no, value of n I want to find out. So if I'm taking n to this side, m to this side, so what I'm going to get, value of n, which is equal to n minus m. So this value which we have obtained here, now this is being substituted at this position. So here the value of small n is substituted, which is n minus m. So next we will further write down. So instead of here 1 to n, instead of that I have taken the range from 0 to n minus 1. Totally we will have n number of samples. Okay, instead of writing the value from n to 1, because in the lower side we usually write lower limit, in the upper side we usually write the upper limit. So we want complete sequence, or we want n number of values, so we have taken the index from 0 to n minus. The index of m will be 0 to n minus 1. So here the index, earlier it was m is equal to n and m is equal to 1, means total how many values being represented by m is representing the total number of n values. So in the structure, in order to fit into the structure, the index of m we have taken from 0 to n minus 1. Now this is x of m, e raised to minus j 2 pi k upon n minus m. So further what I did, I have this expanded exponential part. So n minus m, I'm writing here. Here it is already written. So it is e raised to minus j. This is e raised to minus j 2 pi k. This n and this n will be cancelling. So those are cancelled. So it is e raised to minus j 2 pi k. And in the second bracket, what is this minus is becoming plus. This minus is becoming plus. So here this is actually, it is plus. This is actually plus. So e raised to this minus is plus. So it is e raised to j 2 pi k m divided by capital N. E raised to j 2 pi k m divided by capital N. And value of this, e raised to minus j 2 pi k. Value of e raised to minus j 2 pi k is always equal to 1. This is always equal to 1. If it is 1, then the value that will remain is summation. This will be 1. So these two terms are remaining. So I have written it here once again. Summation m varies from 0 to n minus 1. X of m e raised to j 2 pi k m divided by capital N. This is what I have written, e raised to j 2 pi k m divided by capital N. So because of we have distributed these values, we have substituted for this is equal to 1. So after doing this, only these two terms are remaining, which I have written here once again. Now further what we will do, we will multiply both the sides. We will multiply RHS by e raised to minus j 2 pi m by this, because this is equal to 1. So if I multiply here by this term, it will not affect anything. It is not going to affect anything. Because why it is not going to affect anything? Because this value is equal to 1. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to multiply right hand side by this term. What is that term? E raised to minus j 2 pi m. If I'm multiplying this 2 pi m, if I'm multiplying this term, we'll see what will happen. Now what I did, I have multiplied by this term to the left hand side. Value of this is equal to 1. So here this is nothing but, if I combine these two exponential part, this is nothing but e raised to minus j 2 pi m Now this is, now here m is there, here again m is there. So only k is, now what we did, we have taken the common part. What is a common part? 2 pi and m. This is a common part, 2 pi m. This is a common part, and remaining what we have written, n minus k divided by capital N. Now, if you compare this is nothing but the DFT values, which is shifted by k, n minus k unit, or which is a folded. DFT values are folded. So we can write it as, this is nothing but equal to x of, because k is minus here, so x of minus k modulo n. So here we can easily prove that if we fold the sequence in the time domain, its corresponding DFT values are also going to be folded. That is the very important property. So here DFT of x of n minus n, which is equal to x of n minus k, representing that folded time domain sequence generate folded DFT values, right? So this is the additional property of DFT called as a time reversal property of DFT. So here, this is, if we fold the sequence in the time domain, its frequency domain values are also going to be folded. Those values are folded here because the sequence is folded in the time domain. If the sequence is folded in the time domain, DFT values are also folded in the frequency domain. That is what we have discussed, what we have proved here. Now, have you taken down the earlier property? Take down properly time reversal of a DFT sequence. Write this property properly, time reversal of a DFT sequence. Write down this property. Folded input sequence generate folded DFT values. Okay, the next property of DFT called as a circular frequency shift. The next property of DFT is called as a circular frequency shift. If the input sequence is x of n, their corresponding DFT values are x of k. If I multiply input sequence by the exponential part e raised to j 2 pi n upon capital N, because of multiplication of complex exponential in the time domain, it will result the shifting of the sequence in the frequency domain. It will, what it will do, it will shift the sequence in the frequency domain. Because of multiplication of sequence in the time domain, it will shift DFT values by L unit in the frequency domain, right? The property says that shifting of DFT components circularly is equivalent to multiplication of time domain sequence by the exponential part e raised to j 2 pi n upon capital N. If I multiply the sequence in the time domain, it corresponds to shifting of the DFT values by L unit in the frequency domain. Shifting of DFT values by L unit in the frequency domain. Instead of, okay. Here, multiplication of the sequence by the exponential term results into shifting of sequence in the frequency domain. We'll see with the example. Here, this is a finite duration sequence. Now, reverse is also there. We'll see that reverse. Circular time frequency shift. Similarly, there is a circular time shift property. Similarly here, circular time shift property also. Circular time shift property. So it says that if we multiply DFT values by the complex exponential, it will result into shifting of the sequence in the time domain. So we'll write down this x of n minus L modulo n. When we apply DFT upon this sequence, shifted by n unit, L unit. So if we take the DFT of such a sequence, it will be a DFT values multiplied by complex exponential. X of k multiplied by e raised to j 2 pi kl divided by 2 pi kl divided by capital N. So the values are shifted by L unit, or this is going to be multiplied by complex exponential in the frequency domain. These are the two properties that is called as a circular frequency shift property and circular time shift property. If we multiply sequence by exponential factor in the time domain, it will result the sequence will be shifted by L unit in the frequency domain. In the vice versa, we can say that if I multiply frequency or DFT values by exponential part, it will shift the sequence in the time domain. So these are the two properties. First property is called as a circular frequency shift property, and second property is called as a circular time shift property. Shifting of the sequence either in the circular, either in the time domain or in the frequency domain. This is because of multiplication of the sequence by the exponential part. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? This is the next property called as a circular frequency shift property and circular time shift property. These properties are saying that काय ह्या property मध्ये what is being explained here? This property says that if the input sequence, if the time domain sequence gets multiplied by exponential factor, it is going to result the shifting of the sequence in the frequency domain. Whereas if the DFT values gets multiplied by exponential factor, it is going to result that shifting of the sequence in the time domain, right? फ्रिक्वेन्सी डोमेन मध्ये कधी शिफ्ट होते, जेव्हा आपण इनपुट सिक्वेन्सला काहीतरी एक्सपोनेन्शियल फॅक्टरनी मल्टिप्लाय करतो, त्यावेळेस सिक्वेन्स हा फ्रिक्वेन्सी डोमेन मध्ये शिफ्ट होतो. इन द सेम मॅनर, इफ आय मल्टिप्लाय sequence or DFT sequence which is in the frequency domain, if I multiply this sequence by some exponential factor, फ्रिक्वेन्सी डोमेनच्या सिग्नलला जर मी एक्सपोनेन्शियल फॅक्टरने मल्टिप्लाय केलं तर टाइम डोमेन मध्ये काय होणार आहे, सिक्वेन्स हा तेवढ्या युनिटनी शिफ्ट होणार आहे. कळतंय? जेवढा आपण इथं मल्टिप्लाय करतो, इथं मल्टिप्लायला जर मी L युनिटनी मल्टिप्लाय केलं एक्सपोनेन्शियल पार्ट मध्ये, तर तेवढ्या युनिटनी सिक्वेन्स हा शिफ्ट होणार आहे, आयदर इन द फ्रिक्वेन्सी डोमेन और इन द टाइम डोमेन. फ्रिक्वेन्सी डोमेन मध्ये कधी शिफ्ट होतो, जेव्हा आपण सिक्वेन्स हा इनपुट सिक्वेन्स टाइम डोमेन मध्ये आणि त्याला एक्सपोनेन्शियल फॅक्टरने मल्टिप्लाय केला तर सिक्वेन्स हा फ्रिक्वेन्सी डोमेन मधला शिफ्ट होतोय. ऑन द सेम मॅनर, मी जर सिक्वेन्स हा माझा फ्रिक्वेन्सी डोमेन मध्ये त्याला जर मी एक्सपोनेन्शियल पार्टने मल्टिप्लाय केलं तर माझा टाइम डोमेन मधला सिक्वेन्स हा तेवढ्या युनिटनी शिफ्ट होणार आहे. आर यू गेटिंग दिस? Okay. Now here the input sequence is given, and it is this is my input sequence x of n. How do you write this x of n sequence? हा x of n sequence कसा लिहिणार आहे? How do you write this? X of n which is equal to किती amplitude 0th ला 1 2 2 1. So my sequence is 1 2 2 1. Now in this sequence the input sequence, this the sequence in the frequency domain gets multiplied by exponential part. काय आहे तो e raised to minus j 4 pi k upon 5 means total number of 5 points आहेत. म्हणजे इथं 0 1 2 3 किती झाले हे 4 पॉइंट. म्हणजे हा पण एक पॉइंट आपण कन्सिडर केला पाहिजे कारण इथं डिवाइड बाय 5 आहे. मीन्स कॅपिटल एन ची व्हॅल्यू किती आहे, कॅपिटल एन ची व्हॅल्यू ही 5 आहे. सो आय एम गोइंग टू टेक वन मोर 0 value here. So 1 2 2 1 0. This is my input sequence. Now frequency domain, it is being multiplied by e raised to minus j. I will write here 2 pi k and इथं one more 2 कारण 4 आहे ना. So here 2 multiplied by 2. So I have distributed this 2 pi k multiplied by 2 divided by 5 into x of k. Means frequency domain मध्ये exponential part नि multiply केलेलं आहे. What is that? e raised to minus j 2 pi k l upon capital N. इथं l ची व्हॅल्यू किती आली? How much value of l that you have obtained here? The unit of or number of units the sequence shifted is represented by l. Here value of l is how much is the value of l? L is equal to 2, right? The value of l is equal to 2 means if I'm multiplying the frequency domain, the sequence of in the frequency domain, if I'm multiplying by exponential part e raised to minus j 2 pi k l divided by capital N. This l is representing that the amount of units the sequence in the time domain that is being shifted. मग आता हा टाइम डोमेन मधला सिक्वेन्स कितीनी शिफ्ट होणार आहे तर 2 युनिटनी. मग l हा पॉझिटिव्ह असल्यामुळे तो कसा होणार आहे अँटी क्लॉकवाइज शिफ्ट होणार आहे. सो द सिक्वेन्स यू कॅन सी दॅट दिस इज माय सिक्वेन्स. And after shifting this sequence, now the new sequence which I will be getting, I will draw here. This is my sequence, 5-point sequence. 1 2 3 4 and here one more 5. So I have a 5-point sequence. So I am representing this. This is first point is 1. I will draw it once again. So this is 1 2 3 4. This one more point. So here this is the sequence is sequence is 1 2 2 1 2 2 1 and here it is 0. Now this sequence is shifted by 2 unit in the anti-clockwise manner. So if I'm shifting this sequence by 2 unit, I will be getting new sequence. I will write here. I want to shift this sequence by 2 unit. So this one will appear at this position. So this is 1 at this point, 2 2 1 and here it is 0. So new sequence after shifting, the new sequence that we have obtained is x dash of n, which is equal to 1 0 1 2 2 1 0 1 2 2. So this is the sequence which we have obtained after performing circular shift by 2 unit. Why we have given the 2 unit of shift? because here this formula is representing that this sequence in the frequency domain gets multiplied by this exponential factor. As it is going to multiply by this exponential factor, so it means that the sequence is shifted by some unit. How much that will be calculated from this exponential part only. What is that? What is that? It is e raised to minus j will be as it is. This is going to be 2 pi as it is. K will be as it is. And now L we want to find out. So here this is 4. So it is 2 multiplied by 2. So the value of L which we have calculated is 2 divided by 5. 5 is representing that number of samples present in that particular sequence. So this 5, the 5-point sequence, it is being shifted by 2 units in the anti-clockwise direction. So the new sequence here it is obtained. This is this kind of property is called as a circular frequency shift and circular time shift. Here we have applied the circular time shift property because we have multiplied the sequence in the frequency domain by exponential part, and because of this the sequence in the time domain gets shifted, right? So this is the next property called as a circular time shift property. Similarly, you can have a circular frequency shift property also. You can solve the problem based on that also. Complex conjugate property, we have already studied about this. Okay, so these are the properties which are there from chapter number 2, properties of DFT. We will be starting with the new chapter. So let us write down chapter number 3. You may have exam in the month of January, so we'll have to hurry up. So whatever extra lectures being conducted, please cope up with us. Write down chapter number 3, linear filtering methods based on DFT. The next chapter, chapter number 3. Chapter number 3, linear filtering method based on DFT. Linear filtering method based on DFT. Write down the syllabus for chapter number 3. It's very small chapter. It will take hardly 3 to 4 lectures. So we'll complete this within 3 to 4 lectures. And after that, the 4th chapter, this is somewhat big, but it will take hardly 8 hours. So write down linear filtering method based on DFT. Number of hours required are 5 hours. Use of DFT in linear filtering. First point, use of DFT in linear filtering, comma, filtering of long data sequences such as overlap save and overlap add method. Overlap save and overlap add method. Frequency analysis of signal using DFT. Frequency analysis of signal using DFT. Textbooks and reference books, those are required. Digital signal processing principles and algorithm and applications by John G. Prokis. This is very good book for reference purpose. The next book is called as a Digital Signal Processing by Ramesh Babu. So this is the second book, DSP by Ramesh Babu. This book is important from the problem solution point of view. So there are plenty amount of problems are there which you can get it from this book, so that you can solve it. So this from that point of view, this book is very, very good. The second book, Digital Signal Processing by Ramesh Babu. I hope you all are taking down this. Okay, so now we will go through the first point, use of DFT in linear filtering. So write down this, use of DFT in linear filtering. Use of DFT in linear filtering. A sequence x of n. Let us consider one sequence x of n of length L, filtered by a FIR filter of impulse response as h of n of length m. Means here आता आपण circular linear convolution find out करताना काय consider करतो की I have a one sequence x of n of length x of n ची लेंथ किती L आहे आणि फिल्टरच्या सिक्वेन्सची लेंथ किती m आहे. तर ह्या केस मध्ये आपल्या लिनियर कन्व्होल्यूशनच्या आउटपुटची लेंथ किती असते? व्हॉट इज द लेंथ ऑफ output of linear convolution? It is equal to L plus m minus 1. Are you getting? When we apply linear convolution, the output y of n, output y of n, which is nothing but x of n is convolved with, this we will write convolution, convolved with h of n. h of n हा काय झाला? फिल्टर सिक्वेन्स झाला. या दोघांचं आपण कन्व्होल्यूशन, लिनियर कन्व्होल्यूशन घेतलं. तर ह्या आउटपुट y of n ची लेंथ किती आहे? ह्या केस मध्ये इनपुट सिक्वेन्सची लेंथ m आहे आणि फिल्टर सिक्वेन्स फिल्टरच्या दिस h of n ची लेंथ किती आहे? m आहे. ह्या दोघांची L and m आहे. तर आउटपुटची लेंथ किती येते आपली लिनियर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये? L प्लस m मायनस 1 ही झाली आपली आउटपुट सिक्वेन्सची लेंथ, L प्लस m मायनस 1. बट सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये काय होतं? जर व्हॉट इज ऑब्झर्वेशन इन द सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशन? इनपुटच्या सिक्वेन्सची लेंथ ही n आहे, नंतर सेकंड सिक्वेन्स आहे त्याची पण लेंथ n आहे. तर आउटपुटच्या सिक्वेन्सची y of n हा आपला आउटपुटचा सिक्वेन्स आहे, त्याची लेंथ किती येणार आहे? ती पण लेंथ ही nच येणार आहे सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये. म्हणजे तिन्ही सिक्वेन्सची द इनपुट सिक्वेन्स x1 of n, input sequence x2 of n, both are having same length which is equal to n. सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशनच्या केस मध्ये आउटपुट सिक्वेन्सची लेंथ किती येते? ती पण nच येते. बट लिनियर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये काय होतंय? जर इनपुटच्या सिक्वेन्सची लेंथ L असेल, सेकंड सिक्वेन्स जो आपण फिल्टर सिक्वेन्स म्हणतोय त्याची लेंथ जर m असेल, तर आउटपुटच्या सिक्वेन्सची लेंथ ही वाढतीये. The length of sequence is going to increase here in the linear convolution, but in the circular convolution it doesn't increase, it remains as it is. It doesn't increase, it remains as it is. That is the case in case of circular convolution. म्हणजे सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्युशनची काय होतंय, लेंथ ही कमी राहतीये. मग ती कमी राहिल्यामुळे काय होतंय, तर ओव्हरलॅपिंगचा प्रॉब्लेम येतोय. म्हणजे लास्टचे पॉइंट हे फर्स्टच्या पॉइंट वरती ओव्हरलॅप होत आहेत, म्हणजे अलाइजिंग ऑकर होतंय इन केस ऑफ सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्युशन. लेंथ ही इन्क्रीज होत नाहीये, तर शेवटचे पॉइंट, लास्ट पॉइंट्स आर overlapping on the first point in case of circular convolution, because length of output sequence doesn't increase. It remains same as that of the input sequence, and because of that the aliasing problem that is present when we apply a circular convolution, right? So we will see this in elaborative here. So let us take an example. We will see this with the example. We have considered here two sequences, x of n and h of n. Length of x of n is 3, length of h of n is 2, because 2 points are there, 2 samples are there. So length of h of n is 2, length of x of n is 3. Now we are going to perform a linear convolution. You can use directly a shortcut method, जे तुम्ही ISC च्या पेपर मध्ये यूज केलेली, तशा मेथड वापरून पण तुम्ही सर्क्युलर लिनियर कन्व्होल्युशन फाइंड आउट करू शकता. So this is x of n. हा आता आपण सिक्वेन्स हा फोल्ड केलेला आहे. And then we perform the multiplication. So you can find out linear convolution, doesn't matter. मग here circular convolution मध्ये overlapping होते, त्याच्यामुळे I will show you notes so that you will understand from the notes itself. Linear filtering of a sequence. Now here we have considered, let me share the screen so that it is visible for you. I will share these notes with you. You can perform linear convolution by using okay. So how do you find out the linear convolution of this sequence? How? Okay. So here I have sequence 1, 1, 1, and here it is -1 and 1. How do you find a linear convolution? I'm going to perform multiplication of this and then addition so that we can get the output sequence. So 1 gets multiplied by 1. This is -1, -1, and this is -1. And this is going to be 1, 1, 1. Then we will be taking this in this manner. So what will be the output sequence? काय होणार आहे ह्याचा output? Can you tell me? the first point is -1, followed by 1 -1. So what is the output here? We are performing linear convolution. So 1 -1. So its value is 0, followed by this 1 -1. So this is again 0. And here it is 1. Output is -1 0 0 1. So how, what will be the length of output sequence? In this case, length of input sequence is x of n. किती आहे याची length? This is 3. Length of filter sequence is 2. So output sequence y of n ची length किती झाली? What will be the length of y of n? L plus m minus 1. म्हणजे याची लेंथ किती झाली? L किती आहे? 3 आहे. m किती आहे? 2 आहे. And this is -1. So length of this sequence 3 plus 2 -1. So this is 1. So length of output sequence is equal to 4. म्हणजे by the formula किती यायला पाहिजे? length 4. आणि इथं आता आपण लिनियर कन्व्होल्यूशन अप्लाय केल्यावरती आउटपुट सिक्वेन्स ची लेंथ किती आली? 4 येते. But if I'm using a linear convolution, if I am using a linear convolution, see, here it is. If I am using a linear convolution, what will happen? What will be the length of output sequence? Linear convolution मध्ये output sequence ची length किती राहणार आहे? Tell me, output sequence. What will be the length of output sequence in the linear convolution? पहिला sequence किती आपला? x of n is equal to, पहिला sequence आपला 1 1 आणि 1 आहे. आणि दुसरा sequence काय आहे? y of n. This is my second sequence. y of n which is equal to -1 आणि 1 आहे. म्हणजे याची मॅक्सिमम लेंथ किती होणार आहे? व्हॉट विल बी द मॅक्सिमम लेंथ ऑफ आउटपुट सिक्वेन्स इन दिस? इट इज इक्वल टू, बिकॉज इनपुट सिक्वेन्स लेंथ इज 3 and this is 2. So while performing circular convolution, we should okay. So in case of circular convolution, length of output, length of output will be the maximum length. किती आता? याची 3 आहे, याची 2 आहे. So length of output, let's say this is h of n actually. So length of output sequence y of n, it is equal to 3 only in the circular convolution. Linear convolution मध्ये length किती आली? ह्याच्यात हा L हा आणि m हा. सो L किती आहे? 3 आहे. m किती आहे? 2 आहे. मग L ची व्हॅल्यू मॅक्सिमम आहे 3 आहे. मग ती जी काय मॅक्सिमम व्हॅल्यू असेल तेवढीच तुमची सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये आउटपुटची लेंथ येणार आहे. म्हणजे सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये y ऑफ n ची लेंथ किती येणार आहे? मॅक्सिमम 3 येणार आहे. बट लिनियर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये तीच लेंथ किती आली आहे माझी? 4 आलेली आहे. म्हणजे याच्यात नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स, सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स हे लेस आहेत. आउटपुटचे नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स लेस आहेत आणि ह्याच्यात किती मोर आहेत. मग असं म्हणजे सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशन मध्ये लेंथ कमी आहे म्हणजे काय झालेलं आहे? हे जे लास्टचे पॉइंट आहेत ते फर्स्ट पॉइंट वरती ओव्हरलॅप झालेले आहेत. हे जे लास्टचे पॉइंट आहेत ते फर्स्ट पॉइंट वरती ओव्हरलॅप झालेले आहेत. त्यामुळं त्याची लेंथ ही व्हॅरी होतीये. आणि मग तो प्रॉब्लेम लिनियर फिल्टरिंग मध्ये आपल्याला जर सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्यूशन अप्लाय करायचं असेल तर वी शुड गो विथ अ झिरो पॅडिंग. वी शुड गो विथ अ झिरो पॅडिंग मीन्स काय? वी विल हॅव टू ऍड झिरोज ऍट द एंड ऑफ द सिक्वेन्स. वी शुड ऍड द number of zeros at the end of this sequence. We should add number of zeros at the end of the sequence so that we can get the length of, or we can get the output of linear convolution and output of circular convolution should be similar. आता इथं ह्या केस here if I want to get output as that of the circular convolution, what I have to do? I have to manage the length of input sequence. I have to manage the length of this filter sequence or length of impulse sequence. So output sequence ची length किती असते in general? Y of n by using linear convolution. What is the length of output sequence? It is always equal to L plus M minus 1. मग आता इथं L किती आपला number of points in the input sequence are equal to 3. इथं length किती input sequence ची 3 आहे. Length of impulse sequence किती आहे 2 आहे. Minus 1. So what is the output of this? Is equal to 4. So in order to get the length of output sequence y of n is equal to 4, what we supposed to do? We supposed to add the zeros. म्हणजे इथं 3 जर sequence मध्ये values असतील तर आणखीन एक मला 4 values पाहिजे. Means I have to add 1 0 here. After the sequence I have to add 1 0 so that length of this sequence will be equal to 4. ह्या filter sequence मध्ये काय ह्याच्या ऑलरेडी 2 व्हॅल्यूज आहेत म्हणजे मला किती व्हॅल्यू ऍड करावं लागतील त्याची लेंथ 4 येण्यासाठी. सो आय हॅव टू ऍड मोर 2 व्हॅल्यूज म्हणजे इथं 2 व्हॅल्यूज आणि इथं एक व्हॅल्यू इथं 2 0 मला ऍड करावे लागतील सो दॅट आय कॅन गेट द लेंथ ऑफ filter sequence or impulse sequence is equal to 4 and then I can apply the circular convolution. If after applying the circular convolution I will get the answer of circular convolution and linear convolution, both are equal. If these answers are matching then we can use circular convolution for linear filtering problem. सर्क्युलर कन्व्होल्युशनचा काय प्रॉब्लेम होता त्याचा लेंथ कमी असल्यामुळे आउटपुट मध्ये काय होत होतं लास्टचे पॉइंट हे फर्स्ट काही पॉइंट आहेत त्याच्यावरती ओव्हरलॅप होत होते त्यामुळे अलाइजिंग ऑकर होत होतं. इन ऑर्डर टू अवॉइड दिस वी हॅव टू ऍड द झिरोज ऍट द एंड ऑफ सिक्वेन्स. मग ते झिरोज ऍड करताना आपल्याला वन केअर वी शुड टेक दॅट इज वी शुड calculate the length of output sequence. So here in this case length of output sequence which we have calculated it is equal to 4. So in order to get the length of output sequence is equal to 4 what I supposed to do? I supposed to add the zeros at the end of each sequence. So input sequence च्या शेवटी I have added 1 0 and the impulse sequence at the end of impulse sequence also I have added 2 zeros. I have added 2 zeros so that I can maintain length of input sequence and length of impulse sequence both are equal and that is equal to 4 and then I can apply the here then I can apply the matrix method in order to find out circular convolution. So here you can observe that the output by using circular convolution and the output by using linear filtering method both are linear convolution both are matching and then we can show we can say that by adding zeros here conclusion you can see here in the conclusion that this example shows that by zero padding such that length of circular convolution is greater than or equal to L plus M minus 1, circular convolution is the same as that of the linear convolution. So we can adding zeros or we can pad the zeros at the end of the sequence. By doing this we can calculate a linear or we can match the answers of linear convolution and circular convolution and then we can use this in the linear filtering operation. Okay, so with this today we will stop. In the next lecture we will see about overlap add and overlap save methods. So I will share these notes with you, just go through the examples